For decades, you've been told the same thing. If you have diabetes after 60, pasta belongs in the trash. Walk past it in the grocery store. Pretend it doesn't exist. Today I'm going to tell you that almost everything you've heard about pasta and blood sugar after 60 has been incomplete, and in some cases, dangerously wrong. Because the truth most people miss, the truth your doctor doesn't always have time to sit down and explain, is this. There are pastas that lower your blood sugar response compared to a slice of bread. And there are pastas marketed as healthy that spike it harder than the very pasta you've been told to avoid. A randomized controlled trial published in the journal Food and Function in 2017 found that one of the most popular alternative pastas, the one sold to people exactly like you, raised blood sugar 57% higher than regular wheat pasta. The box has clean packaging. The label uses comforting words, and it's quietly making the problem worse. Pick the wrong one, and the damage doesn't stop at your morning HbA1c reading. It runs deeper. After 60, two forces collide inside your body. Your cells stop responding to insulin the way they used to, and your muscles, the very tissue that stores and burns extra glucose, quietly shrink. The wrong pasta feeds both problems at once. Over time, that means more strain on your kidneys, your nerves, and your heart. In my years caring for older patients, I've watched hundreds of them cut pasta entirely, suffer through bland meals, and still see their numbers climb, because the real question was never pasta or no pasta. It was always, which pasta? Today, I'm going to walk you through 4 pastas that actually help lower your blood sugar, and 3 that quietly destroy it. The most dangerous one of all sits at number 1 of what you must avoid, and it could be in your pantry tonight. Stay with me to the end. I'll also share 5 small kitchen secrets that turn almost any pasta into a safer one. Before we go further, I want to know what you're working with. Which pasta is sitting in your kitchen right now? Type the name in the comments so I can see what you're up against. And if you'd like more honest, evidence-based guidance on managing blood sugar after 60, subscribe to the channel and stay with me. But before we get to the pastas themselves, you need to understand one thing about what happens inside your body after 60. Here is something most people never get told. 2 people can eat the exact same bowl of spaghetti, and their bodies will handle it very differently. A 35-year-old and a 65-year-old. Same plate. 2 very different stories on the blood sugar monitor. After 60, your cells become more resistant to insulin. That means the key that's supposed to unlock your cells and let glucose in doesn't fit as smoothly anymore. So the sugar from that pasta hangs around in your bloodstream longer and the spike runs higher. There's a second force at work, and it's the one almost nobody talks about. It's called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle that happens to nearly all of us as we age. Think of your muscles like a storage room for glucose. When you're younger, that room is large. There's plenty of space for the sugar from a meal to be tucked away. As the years pass, that room quietly shrinks. And when the storage shrinks, the leftover glucose has nowhere to go but back into your blood. Research on older adults has shown that sarcopenia roughly doubles the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So the issue isn't simply what you eat, it's what your body has the capacity to handle. Which is why the answer for you, after 60, is not to ban pasta from your kitchen. The real answer is choosing a pasta that controls blood sugar and feeds your muscles at the same time. That category has a name. Legume-based pasta. Pasta made from beans, lentils, and chickpeas. And the first one on the list is the easiest place for you to begin this week. Let's start with number 1 on the list. Chickpea pasta. I put this one first because it asks the least of you. No big change in how you cook, no strange new flavors, just a smarter box on the shelf. The numbers tell you why I trust it. A glycemic index somewhere between 28 and 44, which is low. Around 13 grams of protein per serving and about 8 grams of fiber. Compare that to traditional pasta, and you're looking at roughly double the protein and 4 times the fiber. That fiber alone slows the rise of your blood sugar, like a brake pedal on a hill. There's a beautiful study by Bojarczuk and colleagues, published in the journal Metabolites in 2024, that found something practical. When chickpea pasta is cooked, cooled in the fridge for 24 hours, then gently reheated, its glycemic index drops even lower, from around 39 to 33. The cooling forms what's called resistant starch, a kind of starch your body can't quickly break into sugar. Free benefit, just from your refrigerator. The taste is mild, close enough to regular pasta that it pairs well with marinara, pesto, a simple olive oil, and garlic. You don't have to reinvent your kitchen. Read the label closely though. You want 100% chickpea flour. If wheat flour creeps in, the magic fades. Let me tell you about Christine, 64, a retired accountant. Her HbA1c was sitting at 6.8%. She didn't change anything else. She just swapped her regular pasta for chickpea pasta twice a week. 3 months later, her HbA1c was 6.3. She told me, "Doctor, the first time I opened the box, I almost put it back. It didn't look like the pasta my mother used to make." But she tried it with marinara. Her husband couldn't tell the difference. If muscle loss is what worries you most, the next one is even better suited for your body. Number 2 on the list is red lentil pasta, and I want to be honest with you, this one matters more than most doctors tell their patients, because it answers a fear that almost nobody addresses out loud, the fear of losing your strength as you age. Look at what's inside one serving. A glycemic index between 22 and 40, which is very low. Around 15 grams of protein. High fiber. That's the highest protein of any legume pasta you can pull off a store shelf. Every bite is doing 2 jobs at once, steadying your blood sugar and feeding the muscle you're working so hard not to lose. A study published in Current Research in Food Science in 2024 compared lentil pasta head-to-head against chickpea pasta, durum wheat pasta, and gluten-free pasta. The people who ate the lentil pasta ate about 20% less at their next meal. They stayed fuller, longer, less hunger, fewer cravings, less temptation to snack on the things that quietly push your numbers up. Here's the part I want you to remember. Current nutrition guidance for older adults suggests aiming for about 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight every day, specifically to protect against sarcopenia. One bowl of lentil pasta can deliver 15 to 20% of that target in a single meal. That's not a snack. That's real nutrition doing real work. The taste is bolder than chickpea, earthier, so it loves a strong sauce. Bolognese, a slow-cooked ragu, arrabbiata with a little heat. One word of caution in the kitchen: cook it exactly to the al dente mark, usually around 7 minutes. Push it past that, and it turns mushy fast. Coming up at number 3 is the pasta with the strongest research behind it of all. At number 3 is black bean pasta. And if I had to point to the pasta with the strongest, most direct evidence behind it for someone living with type 2 diabetes, this is the one. The nutrition profile is almost hard to believe. A glycemic index in the 29 to 38 range. Around 25 grams of protein per serving, about 11 grams of fiber. Compared to regular pasta, that's roughly 7 to 10 times more fiber going into your meal. Fiber that slows digestion, fiber that feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Fiber that does quiet, steady work behind the scenes. What sets this pasta apart is the strength of its research. A randomized crossover trial published in the journal Foods in 2022, carried out by researchers from Iowa State University and the USDA, compared black bean pasta directly against white bread. Black bean pasta produced significantly lower blood sugar after the meal, and significantly lower insulin levels too. Both numbers came down together. That's a double win. Less sugar in your blood, and less pressure on your pancreas to produce insulin. A small note on character. The flavor is deeper, the color darker, so it loves company. Pair it with a robust marinara, a meaty ragu, a hearty sauce that can stand up to it. Edward, 71, a retired engineer, had been living with type 2 diabetes for 8 years. HbA1c was 7.4 even on metformin. I suggested black bean pasta 3 nights a week. He resisted at first. Doctor, that looks like Chinese bean noodles, not real Italian pasta. His wife made it with her homemade bolognese. He took one bite, paused, and said he couldn't tell the difference. 6 months later, his HbA1c was 6.5. But one pasta still stands above all the others. At number 4, sitting at the very top of my list, is edamame pasta. If you only remember one pasta from this entire video, let it be this one. The numbers are in a different league. A glycemic index as low as 16 to 30. Around 24 grams of protein per serving. About 13 grams of fiber. The net carbs, the carbs your body actually absorbs as sugar, are roughly 6 times lower than regular pasta. 6 times. Read that again and let it sink in. The proof isn't only in a lab. The company Signos has analyzed continuous glucose monitor data from thousands of real meals eaten by real people. On average, edamame pasta raised blood sugar by only 25.4 milligrams per deciliter. Regular pasta raised it by around 40. That's a 37% smaller rise. In real bodies, in real kitchens, eating real dinners. This is the pasta that does all 3 jobs at once. It keeps your blood sugar gentle. It delivers serious protein to push back against muscle loss. And the fiber keeps your gut bacteria, the silent partners in your metabolism, well fed. The flavor is mild, slightly nutty, with a soft green color. It pairs with almost any sauce you reach for. The one warning. If you have a soy allergy, this one isn't for you. Before I tell you about the next pasta, which gets praised all over YouTube but hides one truth almost nobody mentions, do me a favor. Of the 4 legume pastas I just walked you through, have you tried any of them? Or is this the first time you're hearing about them? Type the names in the comments. I want to see where you're starting from. There's a pasta that didn't make my top 4, shirataki noodles. You've probably seen them celebrated as a miracle for diabetes. As an endocrinologist who watches older patients closely, I have to share something with you that most videos leave out. Let me walk you through this carefully, because this is where I see good intentions lead patients into a quiet trap. Shirataki noodles come from the konjac plant. They're roughly 97% water and a unique fiber called glucomannan. Almost no carbs, almost no calories. From a pure blood sugar angle, they look like a dream. The research isn't bad either. A 12-week study from Japan, following 26 patients with type 2 diabetes, found that adding shirataki to the diet lowered HbA1c from 8.3 to 8.0%. Fasting blood sugar dropped from 173 down to 153 milligrams per deciliter. Real numbers, real improvement. On the glucose monitor, it looks beautiful. Now here's the truth the celebration videos skip past. Shirataki delivers 0 grams of protein, almost 0 calories, almost no vitamins or minerals to speak of. For someone young and metabolically healthy, that emptiness doesn't matter much. They eat protein and nutrients elsewhere. For you, after 60, that same emptiness is a problem. When you replace a real bowl of pasta with shirataki, you're not just removing carbs. You're removing a chance to deliver 15 to 25 grams of protein to muscle that is already shrinking day by day. A study on older adults in Korea found sarcopenia roughly doubles the risk of developing diabetes. So you can win on the blood sugar monitor and lose on your muscle at the same time. Your numbers look clean, but inside, the storage room keeps getting smaller. That's the trap. Use shirataki the right way, and it still has a place in your kitchen. Don't eat it as a standalone meal. Always pair it with a real protein source, around 100 to 150 grams of salmon, 2 or 3 eggs, 100 grams of tofu, a lean cut of chicken or beef. Limit it to 1 or 2 meals a week. It works especially well in Asian-style soups and broths, where it's a more honest fit than trying to pretend it's spaghetti. You now know the safe choices, and you know how to handle the so-called miracle. There are 3 pastas quietly damaging blood sugar in kitchens just like yours, and the most dangerous one could be sitting on your shelf tonight. Sliding into number 3 on the list of pastas to avoid is one that probably surprises you. Gluten-free pasta. The kind made from corn flour or rice flour, the kind that sits on the shelf in friendly packaging, often near the word wellness. Remember that 2017 trial from Food and Function I mentioned at the start? Here are the details. 13 healthy adults ate pasta made from rice and corn flour, then traditional wheat pasta on separate days. 30 minutes after the meal, blood sugar from the gluten-free version was 57% higher than from regular wheat pasta. That difference was statistically significant. Here's why. In wheat pasta, gluten forms a kind of protein mesh around the starch. That mesh slows digestion. Take the gluten away, and you're left with corn or rice starch that breaks down into sugar very quickly. Faster digestion, faster spike. So why do so many people over 60 fall for it? Marketing. The word gluten-free sounds like healthy to almost everyone, but gluten-free was designed for people with celiac disease, which affects roughly 1% of the population. If your doctor hasn't diagnosed you with celiac, you don't need gluten-free pasta. And if you want to avoid gluten for another reason, legume pasta is your better answer. Not corn or rice-based versions. A quick rule when shopping. Read the ingredients. If rice flour or corn flour is the first ingredient, put the box back. There's another pasta even more common than this one, hiding in dishes you've eaten for years. Number 2 on the list to avoid is rice noodles. And this one stings because it shows up in dishes many of you grew up loving. Rice flour has a glycemic index around 95. Regular wheat pasta sits closer to 47 to 55. Pure table sugar sits at 100. Read that again. Rice noodles, in terms of how fast they spike your blood sugar, are practically standing next to glucose itself. Think about where they appear. Pho, pad thai, vermicelli noodle bowls, rice noodle stir-fries, fresh spring rolls, instant rice noodle cups from the grocery store. Many people don't even think of these as pasta, but biologically, your bloodstream treats them the same. 2 things make this especially hard on a body after 60. First, the portions are usually large. A typical bowl of pho can hold 200 to 300 grams of rice noodles. Second, these dishes are often eaten in the morning when your insulin sensitivity is most fragile. Be honest with me and with yourself. In the past 7 days, how many times did you eat pho, vermicelli, or any kind of rice noodle dish? Don't be shy. Put the number in the comments. I want to see how big the picture really is. If you love pho, you don't have to give it up. Keep the broth, double the vegetables and herbs, and cut the noodles to about half what you normally take. And now we arrive at number 1. The most dangerous pasta on the entire list. At the top of the list of pastas to avoid, sitting at number 1, is instant ramen. And the reason it earns this place isn't one problem. It's 3 problems firing at the same time. The first attack is on your blood sugar. The noodles are made from highly refined wheat, then deep fried in palm oil before being dried. The glycemic index sits around 52, but the glycemic load, which accounts for how much you actually eat in one serving, climbs to about 29.5. That's a serious dose. Spikes can stay elevated for 3 to 4 hours. The second attack is on your blood pressure. A single packet of instant ramen contains 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That's 65 to 85% of the entire daily limit set by the American Heart Association in one bowl. After 60, more than 70% of adults already have high blood pressure or are sitting right on the edge of it. Sodium like this pushes them over, The third attack is on your heart. The frying process leaves behind trans fats and saturated fats. People with diabetes already carry 2 to 4 times the risk of cardiovascular disease compared to non-diabetics. Instant ramen pours fuel on that fire. One packet of instant ramen is like 3 bullets fired at once into the 3 weakest points in your body: your blood sugar, your blood pressure, and your blood vessels, all for a $3 meal. Larry, 68, lost his wife 2 years ago. Living alone, eating became something to get through, not enjoy. Instant ramen 4, sometimes 5 nights a week. Cheap, fast, no dishes. 1 year later, his HbA1c had climbed from 6.4 to 8.1. His blood pressure went from 130/80 to 158/95. He was diagnosed with stage 2 kidney disease. When I read the numbers to him, Larry sat quietly for a long time. He looked down at his hands and said, "I've lived enough already." Then his voice cracked, just a little, and he said, "But I want to be here longer for my grandson." If you love traditional pasta and aren't ready to give it up completely, I have something for you. 5 small secrets that can turn almost any pasta, even regular pasta, into a much safer meal for your blood sugar. You don't need to overhaul your kitchen. You just need 5 small shifts, applied around the meal itself. Secret number 1 happens before the pasta even touches the pot. Portion. The Italian standard for 1 serving is 2 ounces dry, roughly 57 grams, which becomes about 4 ounces cooked. About the size of your closed fist. The Italians eat pasta almost daily and have lower diabetes rates than Americans, partly because their portions stay honest. A small kitchen scale, one-time purchase, will protect you for the rest of your life. Secret number 2 changes the pasta itself. Cook and cool. Boil it al dente, slightly firm. Cool it in the fridge for 24 hours. Then gently reheat before eating. During that cooling, some of the starch transforms into resistant starch, which your body can't quickly break down into sugar. A randomized controlled trial published in the journal Nutrients in 2026 on 32 people with type 1 diabetes showed resistant starch increased by about 60% after cooling, with a clear drop in post-meal glucose. Cook once, eat across 2 or 3 meals. Easier and healthier. Secret number 3 happens at the table before the first bite of pasta. Start with a green salad, a vegetable soup, or a small antipasti plate. Wait 10 to 15 minutes, then eat the pasta. That vegetable fiber forms a mesh in your stomach that slows glucose absorption by 30 to 50%. The Italians named it antipasti for a reason. It literally means before the meal. Secret number 4 is the acid splash. 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar over your salad, or half a lemon squeezed into a glass of water you sip during the meal. Acid slows the stomach from emptying, which slows sugar entering your blood. Italian grandmothers have done this for centuries. The science just caught up. Secret number 5 comes after the meal. Walk for 15 minutes, starting about 10 to 15 minutes after your last bite. Moving muscle pulls glucose from the blood without needing insulin, cutting the spike by 30 to 50%. A walk around the block, up and down the stairs, a small trip to the store, 1 simple habit, 2 gifts, lower blood sugar and protected muscle. You now have everything. The right pasta to choose, the wrong ones to avoid, and 5 secrets to make any pasta safer. Let me close this with a clear picture you can carry forward. I want you to leave this video with 3 things settled in your mind. First, pasta was never the enemy. The kind of pasta was always the real story. Wheat refined down to white flour behaves very differently inside a 65-year-old body than a 25-year-old one. And now you understand exactly why. Second, legume-based pasta is the rare answer that solves 2 problems at once. It steadies your blood sugar and it protects the muscle you cannot afford to keep losing as the years go on. Chickpea, red lentil, black bean, edamame. 4 real options on shelves near you. Third, even something celebrated as a miracle, like shirataki, hides a trap if you don't understand what your aging body actually needs. Clean numbers on the monitor are not the same as a healthy body. So here's what I want you to do this week. Walk into your grocery store and pick up 1 box of chickpea pasta, just 1. Cook it once with marinara, see how it feels. With every pasta meal from now on, build the golden triangle. A salad first, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar somewhere on the plate, a 15-minute walk after, and tonight before you go to bed, check 2 things in your pantry. If there's instant ramen, let it go. If there's gluten-free pasta, read the ingredients. If rice flour or corn flour leads the list, plan a swap. 1 question worth bringing to your doctor at your next visit. Ask them whether, given your current HbA1c, switching to legume-based pasta 2 or 3 times a week makes sense for your plan. And if you have a home meter, check your blood sugar 2 hours after a new pasta meal. Under 180 is a good sign. Now, of the 4 legume pastas, chickpea, red lentil, black bean, edamame, which one will you try first and why? Drop your choice in the comments. And if you know someone over 60 managing their blood sugar, send this video their way. The pasta in their pantry might be the very problem they haven't recognized yet. I'm Dr. Claire Whitmore. After 2 decades watching patients struggle with the same confusion about food and blood sugar, I want you to walk away from this video with clarity and with hope. Take care of yourself. Everything I shared today is meant to inform you, not to replace the care of the doctor who knows your full history. One thing matters more than anything else I've said. If you're taking metformin, insulin, or any other diabetes medication, do not adjust your dose on your own when you change how you eat. Blood sugar can drop faster than you expect when you switch to legume pasta, and your doctor needs to walk that journey with you. Be gentle with yourself this week, starting with your next bowl of pasta. If you want to keep walking this road of healthy aging together, subscribe to the channel so the next video finds you. I'll see you soon.